Radio NG. My name is Shola Rogers, and sadly, I am all by myself again. But not to worry, everything is going to be all right. Ola Dolupo is unavoidably absent. She's away at an important event that she has to be at. So I'm going to try to be here for a couple of minutes so that we keep the bar alive, we keep it going. We've not had a bar session since Friday last week, and that's a long time. That was way before. That was before Christmas, right? And now Christmas is gone, and we're waiting for the next Christmas, which is going to be about a year from now. So if you're just joining us, this is the Boom Bar, and what we basically do is kick back, relax. We've got the drinks. I've got some of that in here with some mixes and stuff. And what else we got? We got the gist. There's a whole lot of stuff that's happening that we need to talk about, and we're definitely going to be bringing that to you guys. A whole lot of stuff is happening. I did some kind of a promo earlier, or like a short teaser or so to talk about what should be discussed today, but of course it can change because we say it's music, sports, entertainment, and everything in between. So talking about sports, a couple of games were played at the weekend, and some were cancelled. Of course, sadly, some games were cancelled. But I think there's one Premier League game tonight, and in between that time, it's been Christmas, and of course, a lot of people have had different experiences and all of that. So we're talking about that. We're going to be talking about the passing of the great Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who sadly passed on a couple of hours ago, yesterday, at the age of 90. And he has some amazing quotes. We're going to take a look at his quotes in a way of basically getting an insight into the kind of man that he was. We're using words now because it's now in the past tense, and it's really sad though. But you know how life is. Life in itself, So these are some of the things that we'll be discussing. Just to let you know that we are streaming on YouTube. So if you do not mind, please subscribe to BoomradioNG on YouTube. And you can also watch this stream live on YouTube. And we'll be talking about the fire incident at Next Supermarket at Abuja. Sadly, we saw some things, and again, I'm going to juxtapose that with another news that broke about someone who has COVID or doesn't have COVID or whatever, how we still need to be careful the way we spread the news. Then again, the COVID numbers are they're not good. Increase in number of deaths and all of that. We'll take a look at that amongst other things. But one of the major talking points today is definitely going to be about Nigerian and Ghanaian music, but not like we know it. There's always been a rivalry between Nigeria and Ghana when it comes to music and sports, even food. When it comes to jollof, the jollof wars are interesting and all of that. But there's a Ghanaian artist who has stirred the honest nest, and it's been going off. There's a whole lot of reactions from Ghanaian fans and Nigerian fans. The artists in Nigeria maybe they have a WhatsApp group and they're like, don't say nothing or don't say nothing yet. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening. We'll talk about that. The guy's name is Shatta Wale, and he had a show on Christmas Day in Ghana. And I think it was yesterday, actually, Boxing Day in Ghana. And it was at the Accra Stadium. Should be a 40,000 seater stadium. And of course, it's said to have packed it out and everything. And of course, he went on a rant and everything. So we'll talk about that and any other thing that pops up. So this is your Boom Radio NG. My name is Shola Rogers, and I'm glad to. So the Boom Bar, like I said earlier, is music, sports, entertainment, and everything in between. Hopefully, I'll be able to monitor some of the comments that will come through on Insta so that I can make it an interactive session. It was really nice to have you guys come through on Friday. We had 01 Buki and Austin Okonakman, both of them out there in the UK representing Nigeria fully, and it was really, really nice to have them. So right here, right now, Welcome to the Boom Bar. And like I said, at the weekend, the first major news actually is the passing of the great Bishop Desmond Tutu, and it was actually shocking because again, when this news broke, someone was like, didn't he pass on a while ago? And I'm like, I'm not sure too. Let me quickly check. And sadly, yes, I have to be honest with you guys. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be alive. Then we checked and we saw that it was true that the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, had confirmed that Archbishop Desmond Tutu had passed. Now, Archbishop Desmond Tutu is someone that we all love and respect, especially when you grew up in the late 60s and the early 70s and you understand the struggle, the apartheid struggle that South Africans had to endure, the class differentiation and all the issues that the black South Africans had to go through, and how Desmond Tutu, was at the forefront. We know Steve Biko, we know of the great Nelson Mandela and a whole lot of people, and how instrumental Nigeria also was. At some point, Nigeria was also referred to as a frontline state. The frontline states were the states that surrounded South Africa, the southern African countries that were at the forefront of this battle to liberate the black South Africans, but Nigeria played a major role. But Archbishop Desmond Tutu was right there, and I'm happy that God granted him longevity, and he was around for such a long time. So sadly, he's passed on now. But the thing about it is, there's so many quotes that are ascribed to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and one of the biggest quotes played out when he passed on, because there was something he said about death, about what he wanted when he died, and how he had prepared for his death, and let me read one of the quotes, but I can paraphrase the rest because it's something that I hold dearly. And he said, "I've prepared for my death. I've made it clear that I do not wish to be kept alive at all costs. I hope I am treated with compassion and allowed to pass on to the next phase of life's journey in the manner of my choice." Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of people shy away from discussing their demise. A lot of people shy away from discussing what would happen to them or what might happen when they die. And this is just a quote about what he said about him being prepared to die. And before he got to that point where he talked about him being prepared to die, there was something else that he said that is not in this quote, but I can paraphrase it for you guys. He talked about how he did not want his family to buy expensive coffins or an expensive coffin or casket. Said he didn't want that. He said they should get a wooden coffin with ropes on the side, something that's very cheap. He said he has seen how in Africa people go broke trying to bury the dead. The way we go out of our way to spend so much money trying to bury the dead. And this is profound because, South Africa is far from Nigeria geographically, but that culture exists in Nigeria too, where people actually borrow money. People go lending money to bury the dead. And the sad part about this is that at times, most of these people who have died will probably still be alive if they had gotten that kind of fund that their family members will end up spending on their burial if they are spent it when they are alive. So Archbishop Desmond Tutu said that he has seen people go broke and people spend money, that money should be spent on the living, so that he does not want his family or friends to go out of their way. He talked about which church he wanted his body to be displayed at. He mentioned the church. He basically had his burial planned out, and this was so many years ago. And sadly, he is now dead and he's moved on, but he gives you a perspective about life. Like, a lot of us shy away. I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people that don't even want to discuss it. Like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. But although a few months ago I came close to it, something happened, and I'm like, okay, you showed me that yes, we're all mortal and anything can happen to us at any time. But we still shy away from discussing, these issues. We shy away from discussing it. But Archbishop Desmond Tutu, one of his most popular quotes was about his dying and him being prepared to die. And again, it's a charge that I would like to read and give to other people to say, listen and learn from a wise old man who died at 90, who had seen it all and grown up in the era where, black people were not allowed to express themselves. They were being hounded and put in prison and all of that. And he still lived in a time where, things are different. And, sadly, again, a few weeks ago, Frederick de Klerk, the last white president of South Africa, had passed on. And then a few weeks after now, Archbishop Desmond Tutu had now passed on. He's gone to meet his ancestors. But, you talk about a generation of people who were great men, especially we talk about Madiba, Nelson Mandela, in glowing terms, but of course we cannot remove Archbishop Desmond Tutu from this. He was a great man in every sense of the word, greatness, but he was extremely humble, and he didn't even hold a grudge against the people who had wronged him. He didn't want to fight them. He talked about forgiveness, talked about a whole lot of stuff. Another quote that I liked is from 1984, the Nobel Lecture of 1984. And this is funny. Let me read it to you guys. It says, once a Zambian and a South African, it is said they were talking, a Zambian and South African were talking, and the Zambian then started to boast about their Minister of Naval Affairs. The South African now looked at the Zambian in shock, like, hey, wait. But you have no navy. You guys have no access to the sea. Why would Zambia have a Minister of Naval Affairs? Then the Zambian retorted and looked at the South African. Well, in South Africa, you have a Minister of Justice, don't you? All right, 1984, South Africa had a Minister of Justice, but did South Africa have justice? Archbishop Desmond Tutu was an amazing person, and a whole lot of stuff that he said that stood out, There's another one from 1986. This was an interview with the U.S. press reacting to the then President Ronald Reagan's vetoing of economic sanctions, against apartheid. He vetoed it. People were hoping that it wouldn't, but it did. But this is what Archbishop Tutu had to say. Your president is in the pits as far as blacks are concerned. He sits there like the great big white chief of old. Can tell us black people that we don't know what is good for us. The white man knows. This is Archbishop Tutu calling out a very powerful person in the mode of, in the person of Ronald Reagan, and how, of course, we all know how racism was. It still is, but it's better. The world is better, but still not equal. It's not exactly what we want. But, a few years before that time, he also said something very profound. Be nice to whites. They need you to rediscover their humanity. And this is from the New York Times, October 1984. Look, the man, was not afraid. He would say it the way it was, and he would, respond to people and say what he had to say. So this is a little bit of a tribute to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and how we know that we have indeed lost a great man. The world is... ideally, flags should be flying at half-mast and all of that, not just in South Africa, but across Africa, because I'm also hoping for the day that Africa realizes that we're one, which is something that we would not see, because it's the day that Africa becomes one that the whole world will change. So of course, leads me to a guy like Shatta Wale in Ghana saying all the things that he said, but we're going to talk about that shortly. It's still the Boomba on your Boom Radio NG. You are listening to Shola Rogers right here. I'm all by myself today and trying to um, keep it going. And of course, it's always a pleasure to get an opportunity like this. Every time you get a chance, to interact, to put out information, and to share your, time and your light with the world and take the light of the world too. It's always a good thing, and so it's a pleasure. If you are watching us on YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook, I would like to crave your indulgence to please search for us on YouTube, Boom Radio NG, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would really love that a lot. You can also listen to us right now. You can listen to us. Some people are already listening anyway. Shout out to you guys out there, especially to our listeners out there in the UK, the US, Australia, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Italy, yes, and all of that. So thank you guys, and we do appreciate you all. And please tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody that your Boom Radio is live and direct, and we're keeping it real. Okay, so it's still the Boom Bar, and there's so much more to talk about. And again, at the weekend, something else happened at the weekend that honestly I wasn't too happy about. It was something that made me feel really sad for humanity again, because we always end up trying to put ourselves down, not knowing that it's always good to keep an open mind and verify things. Don't just jump into conclusions. So what it is that again, before I even talk about that, it's fire season. It's the end of the year and it's Harmattan, and this is synonymous with fires. So, guys, please, even I that I'm talking here, I know that we need to do more. We need to step up our safety, and we need to be careful. Look at those electrical appliances, turn them off when you're not using them. Don't leave them exposed and everything. Just be careful. Then be careful the way you store petrol and so many things, because a lot of things are happening. But one of the biggest causes of fire in Nigeria is electrical faults. A lot of electrical installations are done with fake or substandard electrical appliances, and even the people who pay for them usually pay top dollar. It's not as if they're trying to be cheap. Some are cheap. Some just want to cut corners. But a lot of people who are not cutting corners are also feeling the effects of this. So please be careful out there, even during construction and all of that. So yesterday morning, Next Cash and Carry Mall, which is located somewhere on Amadu Bello Way in the Kado Kuchi area, off the Jai Kado Expressway in Abuja, caught fire. And the news spread like wildfire. You see what I did there? Like wildfire across Nigeria. So for those of us based in Lagos, we made a few calls to one or two colleagues in Abuja to confirm the fire. Then we saw the fire on social media. People were there making videos and taking pictures and all of that. We had a citizen journalist on ground. But that fire, as sad as it was not the main focus of yesterday. It was the video that emerged of people wheeling out items from the burning mall. It was the video of people cutting out things from the mall. And immediately it went viral that the mall was being looted. A lot of people had actually started saying things like, oh, the mall was being looted and all. So I was privileged to be with someone very close to me who also works in the media that put a call through to someone who was at the site. And the lady kept on insisting that there was no looting going on. And it was hard for me to reconcile that, but it was better that you could believe someone who was there live as against just a video that you saw on social media, you do not know the source of this video. So it's always good to verify your source and be sure that the person is credible. So we all went to town. I didn't, but a lot of people did, carrying the news of how the mall was burning and it was being looted at the same time. So apparently, that is not what happened. So the lady went out of her way. She made another video, took pictures, and we saw it. Nigerians are great people. Nigerians are good people. So what actually did happen was that a lot of people decided to help the staff of the mall and the owners of the mall evacuate things that had not been damaged by the fire. You know, it's some kind of safety, some kind of, trying to at least salvage whatever they could salvage from this fire. So the video we saw of people carrying stuff did not show us that the stuff that they had carried was not going to be taken away. It was actually being kept in a pile somewhere far away from the fire, but within the premises of the mall. That is the real thing that happened. And sadly, not everybody who heard about the looting will get to hear about the fact that there was no looting per se. Now, let's get the facts right. Not to say that there will not be one or two criminals who, under the guise of trying to help them save, their items, that would cut something away. Not to say that there won't be people who are criminally minded who will try it. It's just to say that the bulk of the stuff that was moved out of the place was actually salvaged and kept together in a pile, which was being watched by members of staff of the mall, and eventually the police came through, the fire service and all of that, but they were not able to save the building. At some point we saw a video of the roof catching fire and everything, and leads me to a point. People who are blessed with the funds to build such beautiful malls need to start factoring in their own mini firefighting units. Apart from teaching your staff how to use the fire extinguishers and having fire drills, the size of that mall should have you maybe construct your own mini firefighting station, or maybe have your own firefighting truck or your own tank and your hose and of course sprinklers and everything. We really need to start putting those things in place, smoke detectors and sprinklers and everything. We must care more about safety, because even if you have insurance, it will still set you back. You will still lose out on sales. Even if you have insurance and they come and do evaluation and they maybe pay you back some amount of money, it won't still be like if you had prevented the fire from happening in the first place, or from damaging your facility and stopping you from trading on a daily, because it's the turnover that really matters in all of these businesses at the end of the day. So my heart goes out to the owners of this mall, but here's calling on everybody that owns such facilities, churches, mosques, hotels, and all of that. It's not enough to have fire extinguishers, and make sure you service your fire extinguishers after a while, because they actually do expire too. Because at times we just buy them, and we buy them to fulfill righteousness, like, oh, we have fire extinguishers, so we've tried our best. But you must realize that you must invest. You definitely have to invest in your own firefighting system. It is very important that you do so. All right, you're still listening to the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG, and you're watching the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Shola Rogers. Trying to do a quick recap of one or two major stories from the weekend and discussing how things went down, and hoping that we can have an interaction. Remember that we're streaming, so if you put out your comments on YouTube, we'll be able to reach you and respond to your comments, or you put it out there on Instagram. Search for Shola Rogers on Instagram, or search for Facebook, where you will see Boom Bedu, which is our Facebook page, and or one of our Facebook pages, where we're also streaming live. So a whole lot of stuff that's happened at the weekend, but that's one of the major things that went down that I wanted to discuss with you guys. But even at that, there were some other things that happened in the area of football, especially in the Premier League. And again, there's another prediction that we're going to talk about. There's a pastor that usually predicts every year, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. It's something that I'm definitely going to talk about. I wonder how no pastor could predict the coming of coronavirus and the effects of coronavirus, but now you can predict who will not win the AFCON. That's the All African Games. Sorry, the All African Football Tournament, Africa's own Euros, or Africa's own World Cup, or whatever. Please forgive me. I mean, sixes and sevens because of this prediction by Primate Ayodele, who is predicting that the Super Eagles will not win the AFCON. Sure, you get. And that is something that I'm wondering, like, okay, so why are you predicting they're not going to win it? But before I could even respond, there is someone who has responded on our behalf here, and he is Senator Shehu Sani. He was a former senator representing the Kaduna Central Senatorial District, and he has actually called out Primate Elijah Ayodele, the leader of the Inri Evangelical Spiritual Church. Because the primate predicted that the Super Eagles will not win the AFCON, which kicks off in Cameroon, on the 9th of January, a few days from now. And AFCON is actually fighting for its life. A lot of European clubs are scheming behind the scene, we've heard, to have the Cup of Nations. That's the CAF African Cup of Nations, AFCON. They don't want it to hold in January because they're going to be losing a couple of their players. On the flip side, CAF, trying to be magnanimous, has allowed some of the players to stay until, the first week in January, thereby being able to turn out for their clubs, in the Boxing Day matches and the 1st of January matches that will be played. Then after that, they are allowed to fly to Cameroon for the matches that will kick off on the 9th of January. Of course, we're talking about Cameroon, Burkina Faso. They will be going head-to-head that day. And on the same day, we will see Ethiopia versus Cabo Verde. And those are the fixtures for the days. But the real issue now that we want to talk about is Primate Ayodele predicting that the Super Eagles will not win. So, Senator Shehu Sani is speaking my mind on this one, and he says that that the Primate only predicted Nigeria will not win, but failed to state who the winners will be. So there are over 20 countries that will be at AFCON, but you can see the vision of the country, your country, that will not win. And you don't even need to be a seer to see that the Super Eagles will not win. I agree with your prediction. How can they win with the kind of people running Nigerian football and the way the team is in shambles? Now, I'm not going to rule out the ability of the Nigerian players to come together for their own careers. The Osimhens of this world, they deserve to win gold. They are that good. I'm a Nigerian. I am proudly Nigerian, and I can say this boldly. But the thing is, Gennaro Rohr got sacked, and there's an interim coach. Then we heard a few days ago from the NFF chairman that they're bringing in a foreign coach, and that the interim coach might not even take the team. And I'm like, this does not make any sense. Why would you bring a guy that doesn't even know the team a few days to a tournament, a major tournament, Africa's biggest football showpiece? You know, the Cup of Nations is Africa's biggest thing, and Africa is way ahead of the world because Africa plays this tournament every 2 years. Now FIFA wants to play the World Cup every 2 years, and they're trying to get Africa to stop playing its own tournament every 2 years. Isn't this sad? Isn't it sad? Really, seriously. Africans, we need to wake up. They're telling us we can't have a tournament every 2 years, and they're proposing to have the World Cup every 2 years. So why is having the World Cup every 2 years a good thing, but having the AFCON every 2 years a bad thing? Think about it, you know? So Primate Ayodele has predicted that the Super Eagles will not win. I agree with Primate Ayodele. Not because I do not support the Super Eagles. I'm still going to support them, and I hope that they at least make podium. They get bronze or silver or even gold. But with the way things are running, the administrators are not helping these guys at all, and the players cannot say it. So maybe we should help them. But having said that, why in God's good heaven would you now predict that Nigeria will not win, and you didn't tell us who's going to win? If it's a proper prediction, tell us first, second, third, and fourth, and stand by it. At least boys that gamble, they will be able to put their money on it, and they will make money, and they will come and pay tithes. You know. So we need to stop bringing God's name into disrepute when you make predictions that we know that even a blind child will see that your prediction is based on the fact that we all know that the NFF is messing up the preparations of the Super Eagles. Some countries have started arriving in Cameroon, and we've not even opened camp yet. I beg, so please, this is your prediction, sir. According to Senator Shehu Sani, let us know the winner of AFCON. It's not just for you to say that Nigeria will not win. Let us know who's going to win. Then that way we'll be like, oh man, that guy got it right. He got it spot on. You know? He got it spot on. But what do we know, Sha? All right, it's still the Boom Bar on your BoomradioNG. My name is Shola Rogers. And if you're watching or listening, do you agree that the Primate says that Nigeria will not win, but he didn't predict who will win the AFCON? If you really saw a vision from God, let us know the full details of the vision. Or was it blurry? He didn't tell you, is it Ghana that's going to win? Or is it Cabo Verde? You know, stop doing predictions that God did not show you. You can tell them this is your own prediction, but don't say it's a revelation from God. Don't say it's a spirit of God that showed you, because God is not a God of confusion. God shows everything clearly. God shows it like HD. You will see it, you will watch it, you will hear it clearly. Don't come and be predicting what is not there. You know, so Super Eagles will not win, we've heard. But who's going to win? Are you bold enough to say it, Primate Ayodele? Please try. With a wait. You know? All right, moving away from that, let's talk about peaceful. It is discerning how there's an headline from PM News, and it says 1.5 million Nigerians affected by passport scarcity in Italy. So in Italy, 1.5, man, there are that much Nigerians in Italy. That's a lot. But that means there are more than 1.5. If 1.5 have Nigerian passport issues. So according to the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization Europe, that's NIDO Europe, the Italy chapter, they said that about 1.5 million of their members, and they have 3 million registered members in Italy, they're affected by the scarcity of Nigerian passports. This is according to the chairman, George Omo Idohan, George Omo Idohan, chairman of the Italian chapter of Nigerians in Diaspora. And he said that today, you know, this is driving me crazy. I don't believe this should be happening. And again, I start to wonder, like, why is it that the passport that's ours. We manufacture this passport. It's ours, and Nigerians pay for it. It's not free, and it's not cheap either. Why are we always finding it hard to make passports available to Nigerians? Why is it difficult? I have been privileged to get a passport from another country, and all we had to do was walk into the passport place, and we got we were just two families there, and we got the passport in less than an hour. I know of someone who also lives in another country, a Nigerian who's naturalized now, and this passport was mailed to him. This is 2021. When are we going to remove all of this drama surrounding issuing Nigerian passports? The Nigerian Immigration Service or whoever is in charge of this thing, when are you guys going to wake up to your duties and do the right thing? An association of 3 million Nigerians in Italy is telling you that 50% of its members have issues with getting their passport. That's a bad sign, because if they need to extend their stay legally and other things, and they don't have a valid passport for it, do you know what that means? They're probably going to get deported. They're probably going to get into trouble. And not because they don't want to get their documents. It's just because you, the government of Nigeria, you, the people in charge of issuing passports, you're not doing your job. You're just slipping on the job. And this is just Italy. So by the time we start to probe, we go to other countries where there's a large chunk of Nigerians in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and other places. There will always be issues of people trying. There was a story last year, some Nigerian embassy, where one of the staff of that embassy was actually proposing to sleep with a woman, a married Nigerian woman, just because she wanted to get a Nigerian passport. And and the thing became very messy. I know one of my friends was on top of that case then. Was it Germany or Switzerland or one of these European countries? It shouldn't be happening. Why do we make life so difficult for ourselves? Why is it so hard to make the passport available? It is their right, and they're going to pay for it. And most times, a lot of these people are coming home with money. They're coming up with businesses and everything. So why is it so difficult? Shame on anybody that is doing this. If you're doing this for your personal gain,